Hello, friends of Wildfire. This is Darren Glable, the State Fire Meteorologist for South Dakota, and this is your fire weather situation report presented today, Wednesday, December 6th, and this is valid for Thursday, December 7th, and we'll kind of take an outlook into the 8th and the 9th of December as well. So first things first, we really have to talk about antecedent moisture because it matters. This is our overall precipitation over the past 30 days across South Dakota, and by and large, it's been pretty dry across the state, especially when we focus on the Black Hills and southwestern South Dakota, and southeastern South Dakota for that matter. Really less than 1/10 of an inch of precipitation over the past 30 days. We haven't seen meaningful precipitation really anywhere across the state since the middle of October. Northwestern South Dakota is dry. Pretty much everywhere is dry. And if we kind of tighten that up a little bit and look at the past 7 days, really nowhere's seen precipitation. It's been super dry. This time of the year, if we look at historically large fires in early December, this is a kind of a key factor that leads up to those big fires, historically speaking. We get this kind of 7 to 21 day period where we don't get any precipitation. And if we look at the fuels across the landscape, they're dry anyways, right? They're seasonally dead, the fine fuels are, and that's both for the prairies and for the Black Hills. So the fuels are going to be receptive to fire, they're cured out, and they definitely will carry fire. So let's focus on tomorrow. This is daybreak tomorrow morning, roughly 6 a.m. Mountain Time, 7 a.m. Central Time, and 30 is across much of the state. But we can start to see this idea that there's some warmer temperatures on the eastern side of the Black Hills, the banana belt, if you will. This is going to be due to westerly winds overnight tonight going into tomorrow. What that does is that causes the westerly wind will be coming from higher elevation to lower elevation across the eastern side of the Black Hills. That's going to warm and dry out the air. So we're expecting warm and dry conditions with strong westerly winds across the eastern side of the Black Hills early tomorrow morning. And here are some estimated wind gusts. Now, these are wind gusts from the high-resolution rapid refresh model. This is showing wind gusts kind of in the Lawrence to central Pennington County of 35, maybe up to 40 or even 45 miles per hour if we look down here. And this is in miles per hour. Strong winds, yes, but there are a couple other models that are out there that are hinting at even stronger winds than that. And this is what we call the NAM NEST model, or it's just a different kind of high-resolution model. This is actually showing the strongest winds to be down in central Custer County, gusts in that 55 to 65 miles per hour range. Now, this is at 5 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow morning. This would kind of encompass the area between maybe 385 and Highway 79. And so just tomorrow morning and even overnight tonight, as we get towards those hours tomorrow morning, we are going to see strong winds across the Black Hills, especially the eastern Black Hills. And they are going to be westerly. I'm going to go back to the HRRR model just to show that we are going to be seeing these westerly winds across the Black Hills. And again, the focus for the strongest of those winds is going to be kind of in this area circled right there. So what does this imply for fire weather stuff? Well, if you look, this is a relative humidity diagram. We're showing relative humidities tomorrow morning kind of in that 20 to 35% range, along with wind gusts in excess of potentially 45 miles per hour. So if we do get any trees downing power lines or any other kind of fire start, we could be looking at the potential for large fire growth in this area. And that doesn't stop tomorrow morning. That actually continues through much of the day tomorrow. So midday tomorrow, this is roughly noon Mountain Time. We're going to be seeing high temperatures at this time in the upper 50s to mid 60s across central South Dakota. And man, this is back to the HRRR weather model. This is showing wind gusts across the Black Hills going down into Fall River County up in that 55 to 65 mile an hour range. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Potentially. The National Weather Service does have a wind advisory out for kind of those areas on the east side of the Black Hills for wind gusts up to 55 miles an hour. So I definitely think this is a possibility, but it's something, even if it's on the extreme end of what we may likely see, it's something we have to keep in mind as a possibility. I think regardless, we're going to be seeing wind gusts in excess of 45 miles per hour across the Black Hills. This does extend into the prairies of southwestern South Dakota. I mean, look at this. These are wind gusts in excess of 40 all the way up to 55 miles per hour, kind of across southwestern South Dakota. So southwestern South Dakota prairies are going to have very strong winds as well. And once again, these are going to be westerly winds across the state. Remember that westerly, and it's even a slight southwesterly component to the wind in this area, is a warm and dry wind. We're taking it off of the higher terrain to our west and to our southwest, and it's a dry wind. There's not any moisture out there. The eastern side of the state is going to be more in southerly flow. Not too much of a concern out there, but man, anything along and west of the Missouri River, definitely looking at enhanced fire potential. Again, this is for Thursday, December 7th. Looking at a little bit later tomorrow afternoon, this is getting close to sunset. Temperatures should still be in the 40s and 50s across the state. Again, this is the HRRR weather model. Now, as things start to become more stable late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, as the sun starts to set a little bit, this is actually showing an increase in those Chinook-style winds across the Black Hills. Again, I don't necessarily think we're going to gust up into that 60 to 70 mile an hour range like some of these colors are showing, but I do want to stress that it's a possibility. I think wind gusts in excess of 50 miles an hour across the Black Hills are well within the realm of possibilities, with some gusts creeping up potentially higher than that. We retain some of those strong westerly winds across West River areas too throughout the evening tomorrow. And looking at our relative humidity for tomorrow afternoon, we're still going to be seeing those westerly winds across the region, strong westerly winds across the Black Hills, southwestern South Dakota. And again, our relative humidities are going to be down, below 20%, below 25%. It really doesn't matter. Below 30% this time of the year, we can still burn because our fuels are so incredibly dry. This is our hot, dry, windy index. If you remember what the hot, dry, windy index, it puts things into climatological context, excuse me. So this is the probability of the HTWI exceeding the 95th percentile. And that probability is very high across much of central, southwestern, south central, South Dakota, and the Black Hills. So exceeding the 95th percentile, what does that mean? Well, basically, we're hotter, drier, and windier than 95% of the days within the 30-year climatology for December 7th. So this is showing me that if we look at, historically speaking, tomorrow is going to be a pretty dang dry and windy day across these areas, especially relative to what we've seen over the past 30 or 40 years. So just pay attention to that. Here's our grassland fire danger index from the National Weather Service for tomorrow afternoon. That's Thursday afternoon. You can really extend that extreme into the Black Hills. This is just kind of the grassland. It's not necessarily geared towards the Black Hills, but definitely extend that extreme to very high fire danger to the Black Hills as well. So it really encapsulates what I'm thinking for tomorrow, and right there. So looking out a little bit farther into Friday and even into Saturday on the next slide, we're going to be retaining breezy west to northwest conditions. It'll be a little bit cooler, a little bit more humid, but again, wind gusts on the order of maybe 30 to 45 miles per hour in places on Friday. And Saturday, much of the same. Northwesterly winds, a little bit drier west, a little bit more humid east. But again, winds on the order of 30 to 40 miles per hour across the region. So really, to kind of summarize, we've been very dry over the past 40 days. We're going to see strong westerly winds, kind of Chinook downslope winds overnight tonight, central and eastern Black Hills. Those strong winds will continue throughout the day tomorrow. Gusts anywhere from 40 to 60 miles an hour, even higher, are possible. Those strong winds are going to extend out into the prairies of western South Dakota tomorrow, and we'll be seeing gusts from 30 to 45 miles per hour in those locations as well. Our hot, dry, windy index is going to be above the 95th percentile. Minimum RH tomorrow is really going to be, in most places, in that 15 to 30% range, which is plenty low for the time of the year. So again, the big things I'm stressing tomorrow are going to be the strong winds, kind of sandwiched in the areas along Highway 385 in the Black Hills, east towards maybe Highway 79 or the interstate. Those strong winds are going to continue not only overnight tonight, but into tomorrow. So there's potential for down power lines, etc. If we do get a fire start, we could see rapid fire spread. Strong winds continuing throughout the day tomorrow, with some breezy northwesterly winds going into Friday and Saturday as well. Again, there's my contact information. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.